This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review episode 4 of Hawkeye on Disney+, give our final domestic box office opening weekend predictions for Spider-Man No Way Home before its release. Can the movie break $1 billion without a China release? We got a new Cobra Kai Season 4 trailer. Find out what was the most tweeted about movie this year and more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, December 13th, 2021.
Could I sing the song? Jockin' and nerdin'. Spoiler alertin'. Jock and nerdin'. That's the theme song. I sang it.
Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
What's up, listener? How's it going? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero, TV, and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
And he's the Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
No, I'm the Jock, goddammit. Don't you remember?
Not this week. The Jock is back and feeling healthy, and you're back to Rug Boy status.
All right, fine.
He was the Jock last week?
Yeah.
He tried to be the Jock. It didn't work out very well.
He tried to convince me that I wasn't the Jock, but I said, no, I fought it. And I said, no, I am the Jock. God damn it. Floppy Jock.
He was the floppy
I
Jock.
even did push-ups and stuff to prove it.
And joining us, special guest this week, he's a talented artist. He works in the entertainment industry, and he is the admin of our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation. It is Sheriff John Bellotti Jr. How's it hanging, partner?
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
How's it going? Thanks for joining us.
Great. Well, you know the Jock and Nerd tradition. When Bellotti's unemployed, he comes on your show.
Oh, stop. You're not unemployed, are you?
I'm unemployed. It's a holiday hiatus. I got 3 weeks off. It's great.
Don't we normally do an end of the year thing?
We do, actually. Yes, I was going to say, what happens at the end of the year, I say, I'm free. And then you guys have me come on. And then I'm like, hey, what about our end of the year superhero review? And then I come on like 3 weeks later to do like another show.
Because the year hasn't ended.
How it works. You get double dose.
There's still a big movie, going to come out this week. We're going to talk about that. So we could do a little bit of look back at 2021 with you while you're here. It is tradition.
Yeah, it's our tradition.
Is it?
But
yes, it is. Like the U-Log. Like the U-Log on TV. I'm a tradition with Jock and Nerd.
Yeah, you're our log.
I'm your U-Log.
John Log. Bellotti Log.
Yeah.
Up there with all the great American traditions, Thanksgiving, fireworks, John Bellotti Jones at the end of the year.
Turkey, American pie, apple pie.
And a Bellotti.
And Bellotti.
And a Bela Lugosi.
Well, look, I'm glad you're on hiatus so you can hang out with us and geek out about some shit going on.
Yeah.
Let's get to the news. The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Are you really glad, though? Because, Imran, you never go out of your way to reach out to him. He always reaches out to us.
Well, I don't know when he's off, so I have to wait to tell me when his break is.
And then when he wants to do a show, he's like, guys, can we do it at 4 o'clock? I have to be asleep at 5:30.
That's right. So that's
Eastern time. Because I got to wake up at 3 to go paint my toenails.
No, it's really true.
You have ungodly hours, so I have to wait.
It's terrible.
Bellotti.
I can't. Yeah. I used to be able to I was like, okay, can we do earlier? And it's like, I'll just deal with it, or I go to bed late because I was just one person. Now that I got to show up and delegate to a crew of people and talk to producers and art directors, and it's like, oh man, I can't phone it in like I used to. Now I need my rest.
Painting Ultron's fingernails, right? With the guy that plays Ultron.
I'm not painting his fingernails. I'm painting his toenails.
Oh, that's right.
Listen, Bellotti, real quick, tell the listener maybe who doesn't know why you got to get up early when you're working.
I now run the scenic paint department on a TV show called The Blacklist, starring Ultron himself, James Spader.
Nice, got promotion. You're running it now. Wow. You were just painting back in the day.
You know when I started? You know when I took over from my boss? Was in the middle of, when was it? Season 8, during COVID.
Oh, shit.
When it was horrible for every job in New York to just start up again. It was the worst of the worst. Now it's easy. Now I just laugh every day. Fucking paint it white. I don't fucking care.
They're rewarding Bellotti. They're like, hey, let's give him more responsibility in the middle of the fucking pandemic.
I picture
How about-
Bellotti as Tom Hanks in that movie. Was at the terminal.
Oh yeah, where he's stuck in the airport.
Where he's stuck in the
he lives
airport,
there?
and then he like finds a section of the terminal that's like unfinished, and he makes like a brick fountain out of nothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Bellotti.
He just paints
Yes.
a backdrop of like the beach to pretend he's outside.
When I'm bored and when I finish delegating and everyone's working, I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and paint this fountain in the middle
So
of
do you have
Manhattan.
to like do things anymore?
I do, but like whenever I jumped in last season, I would take work away from the crew and it wasn't right. And then I would just, because I work fast and I would just blow, like I'd paint the hallway in an hour, and I was like, I got to stop because there's not going to be anything for these guys to do. So now I just don't do anything. I just like do little doodles. I drew Carnage a few weeks ago, just sketch,
It's great. You're so productive
So,
at work.
so you're just telling other people to do stuff.
Yeah. I think when you jump
Like
in,
middle management.
It's it has its perks, but when you jump in, though, you missed a big picture, and I
Now,
gotta be
do
careful.
you go up and go and critique people's work? And be like, listen, I don't like the way you freaking did this fire
Paint it
escape
again.
there.
No, not
Doesn't
at
look
all.
real.
In between bites of pastrami sandwiches.
Big, it's like
Dry.
a foot long pastrami sandwiches with
Like,
the
this
spicy
blood
brown
splatter-
mustard.
This blood splatter doesn't look good.
No, I got a super. I actually had to lay someone off. Oh my god, I had.
Oh god,
so,
that has to be hard.
Real quick, when you lay someone off in the business, they go, "All right, thank you for the opportunity. I'll be in touch." Great, awesome, great having you here. I laid off this woman, and she started fucking freaking out, and she started
Oh, no.
crying,
Oh,
and she
no.
started like questioning my like hiring decisions, and then she was going to
Oh,
report me
jeez.
to the union. It
Oh,
fucking
no.
blew up. I was ready to throw her out of there until one of my coworkers had to like go and talk to her because I was like, I'm going to throw her into the river if you don't fucking unless you say something to her. Like I was furious. It was bad. It was like because she was kind of new and she was older and she was just nuts. But now like I have a really good crew and these guys can do anything. So it's like I show up and I'm like, oh yeah, this looks good. How about we do that? And then I just sort of like fuck them all up and they get confused. I'm like, I'm just walking away. You guys got it. I'll be in the office.
Also, you guys were very close to going on strike a few months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we would go on strike. They fucked
Yeah.
up. They had it in their hands, man. They had the opportunity to, give it back to them, so to speak. And the deal they got sucks. It still sucks.
Really? I mean,
Yeah,
it
it still
sounds
sucks.
like a few of the things are getting better, but yeah, they came to an agreement, and I believe not everyone likes the agreement.
The big thing is like the 10-hour turnaround time, right? That means dick. You could still work a 15-hour day. It doesn't mean anything. It's fucking stupid. So our job is good. Our job is good, and we all did feel kind of guilty because we didn't want to go on strike. But all these Apple jobs are terrible. They're fucking terrible. Apple, Amazon, pretty much the way they run their corporations and their warehouses is the way they run jobs. So
The streaming productions, huh?
yeah, they're fucking awful. Just weekends and late nights and oh my god.
And now you got to wait another 3 years, I believe, till the thing comes back around.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you know what it is? It's the vote, the contract vote. It was a margin of like 1% that voted.
Right. It was
yes.
very close.
Very
right?
close. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And what's happening is and I can see it with my younger crew members, is that you have a lot of younger people coming in that don't want to live to work. They just want to work to live.
Yeah.
And that's changing it's like shifting the balance of power in the business. Like they're saying, like, we don't want to work these hours. Like we want to go and, we want to go to raves or fucking EDM concerts and whatever these kids do now.
I mean, the culture's got to change, and I've known, like, for a long time in the movie industry, it was long, hard days, and they've been doing this for a long time. But at some point, you're going to break. You got to change. You got to give people time to go home and be with their family.
Yeah, be with their families.
Anyways, look, I'm glad they got some kind of deal. Maybe it wasn't the best deal, but let's talk about Spider-Man. That's why we're really here.
Spider-Man week.
It's Spider-Man week, everyone. It is a huge week.
It's definitely weak. I'll tell you that.
It's weak. Oh shit! I want to know from Bellotti how excited he is.
Oh, he hates this
movie. This is the last time.
Listen, can I answer?
We've got two people here already that
They
already
both
hate this week.
But this is the last time. But we will be talking before.
I'm just gonna go to bed.
Before the movie comes out and everything is spoiled and all the secrets are out and maybe large portions of fans are disappointed, maybe not, we'll see. They put out the first 43 seconds of the movie in this short clip. I don't know if you guys got to watch that. It's not spoilery. but it's just pretty much the scene where he grabs MJ and swings around, and they end up on top of that bridge. There's a fun Easter egg in there. As they're swinging around, you see a large yellow billboard for Rogers the Musical, Geek Boner, stating that this is taking place at the same time the Hawkeye TV show is taking place, and I had questions about that, so I thought that was cute. But I thought we could make some predictions, final predictions before the movie comes out. It's box office predictions and stuff like that. Yeah.
I thought we wanted to ask Bellotti what he thought.
Yeah, I'm like,
Bellotti,
I'm waiting here.
And then he changed it.
And you just
Bellotti,
segued into something else. So
I'm gonna Bellotti give me predictions, but before that,
what do you want? What was the question? I don't even remember. It was like
what
an
is
hour
your
ago.
anticipation?
No, thank you,
Everyone,
Tony. Thank you for
shut
always
the
being
fuck
on
up.
my side, Tony. I appreciate that. That's why me and you we're like bros. You know?
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too. See?
We've always had a thing.
We've always had a thing. Emron is just, he's like...
Yeah, I don't have a drop with Anthony.
No.
I stick it up my asshole.
All right, what was the question again? Oh, am I excited?
What is your anticipation for this movie? What do you think's gonna happen? Who's gonna die? How much money is it gonna make? All that shit.
I gotta answer all these questions? Oh, Christ.
Yes, go.
I'm kind of excited after the... All right. I have not been happy with the year that we've had with Marvel movies. I didn't even see Eternals. We had tickets to go, and I went. Me and my wife went to go hang out with my brother, and we looked at our clock, our phone. I was like, "Oh fuck, the movie starts at 15 minutes. We're not going to make it." Oh well, like we just didn't care. Black Widow sucked. What was the other one? Oh, Shang-Chi was pretty good.
Shang-Chi, yeah.
So I'm kind of looking for this one to maybe right those wrongs. I am kind of excited because my favorite Spider-Man was Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't like him, but he looked like the McFarlane Spider-Man I grew up with, and I'm sticking to that. And he was the best in costume Spider-Man. He looked like a real New Yorker talking to like firemen and cops, and that's just Spider-Man I like. Tom Holland is just like a goofy kid. So I am excited because Doctor Strange is in it, and I'm excited for the Raimi villains, but there's like that line that Strange says in the trailer where he is almost like, I don't know, he just feels a little irresponsible from what I'm gathering in the trailer, and that struck me as like very out of character for
Strange.
For Strange, yeah, I felt
he's acting weird in the trailer.
It's a little weird, right? Like,
yeah.
And Wong tells him not to do the spell, and then Wong just leaves through a portal, and then he does the spell anyway. Like I'm like, what? Okay. So I went from being like really excited. Now I'm just like going in with, I'm tempering my expectations, I guess you could say.
Well, that's a good way to go in. We should all be tempering our expectations. There's no way this movie can live up to all this fucking hype. So percentage of Toby and Andrew, do you think they're in it? Do you care? Does it matter?
No, I do care. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I just hope that the Marvel films don't collapse in on themselves. You know what I mean? With so much meta reference and like what's next? Are they going to bring in like the Nick Cage Ghost Rider and like the original
David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury,
like the Miles Teller Fantastic Four. I mean, we go in.
Why not?
There or Wesley Snipes coming back, but I don't know. I mean, it's exciting. It's kind of cool. I like the acknowledgement, but I think you guys said it last week that I think they had different plans for Spider-Man 3, and then this almost feels like a fan service kind of situation going on.
It could be a mess. Is that the other thing?
It could be a big mess. Yes,
yeah,
it could be a mess, but
it kind of smells like it
could be.
We'll find out.
We'll find out this week.
Most definitely will be a mess, but it might be a fun mess.
Marvel's always a fun mess. I'll give you that.
That's true. When they do make a mess, it is a fun mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Bukkake.
Yeah, that's what you would call a baby shower. Oh, I stole Anthony's joke. Oh, shit.
You didn't even get that when I first asked you. You were like, oh, what's that mean?
Let me look this up. Oh, I get it. Haha. Anthony, final thoughts.
You say that like, you're so dismissive of it, but then you use it as a joke tonight.
That's right. He does that.
Rud said Bukkake. I didn't bring it up. I brought up the baby shower.
I like that we're having an argument over Bukkake.
We're having a Bukkake discussion, people. This is very important.
Got to. What were you going to ask me?
Final thoughts before the movie comes out. What do you hope to see? What do you think you're going to see?
I am pumped. I'm very excited for this movie because I don't know. Like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when we first saw the second trailer, Spider-Man is a character that's still an iconic character, and everything that's kind of been promised to this point makes this seem like it's going to be the ultimate fan servicey Spider-Man movie. Could be a mess, could be really good, could be both. I don't really care, but it's the first movie since Avengers Endgame for as far as superheroes, where I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty pumped to go into the theater. Like, I'm already thinking about going on Thursday and like seeing the movie and trying to actively avoid spoilers and all that kind of stuff, which is stuff I haven't really cared to do for any of the Marvel movies, even though I've been, excited in a little sense to see them. So I'm very pumped. Movie's going to make all the money in the world. Toby and Andrew Garfield, I'm now, not that I wasn't convinced before, but I'm 99.9% sure they're going to be in the movie.
Right? It's the worst kept secret.
Yeah,
I think I agree.
And you can't bring in all these villains, and it's just going to be bad if they're not in the movie. The fans have kind of willed that into existence, and it would just be a very bad idea to bring in back all these villains and not have those guys in the movie. So they're going to be in the movie. That scene is probably going to be a moment in the movie theater similar to a lot of the stuff in Endgame where people are going to be cheering.
Can it be as big as when Cap catches the fucking
No, I mean,
hammer?
it won't be as big, but the people in the audience that are going to be there on a Thursday night are going to be
lose their
very
shit.
Yeah, they're going to be extremely pumped to see Spider-Man and all those characters. So I think it'll be a great experience. I think it'll probably, if I had to predict, it'll probably be an awesome movie-going experience, and then maybe upon rewatch, maybe not the best experience.
Maybe an okay movie.
Yeah, it might be just be an okay movie, but in the theater experience Thursday, I think will be awesome. I think it'll be great.
It's going to be crazy.
Now that's the key word is experience, because I think that's what Marvel does best is they make it an event. Because when I rewatch a lot of these movies outside of Infinity War and Endgame, it's kind of like, all right, it's not as much fun, but it's still fun to watch. But it's going to be an event, and I am excited for that.
But the moments you had in Endgame and Infinity War in a crowded theater were amazing.
But you also had 11 years to get to those moments.
You had a huge buildup.
Because of this whole fan servicey thing and fans willing it into existence, even though Heather Anto says that doesn't happen ever. Fans never will anything into existence.
No, it never happens.
It's always the writers.
Guy doesn't hold a grudge at all.
No.
That's how you get
My
Twitter
axe
blocked.
is sharp. It's very sharp.
Continue.
I've been grinding it a lot. Anyway, so we all Anthony can't stop.
He's been holding on to that for years. Wait.
No, I just saw an opportunity. It's that simple. It's going to be a crazy theater experience, especially if Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in it. The reactions from the crowd is going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot of that nostalgia built in. There's going to be ramifications that affect the wider Marvel universe and possibly like the Spider universe that they're building. And so it is a big movie. It really is like an important film if you love Spider-Man or if you like Marvel or if you like any, this type of shit. Like, it's going to have ramifications, and
it's a big piece of the puzzle here.
Maybe the worst case scenario is it doesn't have any ramifications. Like, worst case scenario is like it's all like a wet fart, like or a limp penis. It's just like
floppy John.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't have any kind of impact on you want it to actually matter. That's one of the things I liked about Loki, right?
Yeah.
Even though Loki wasn't my favorite show of all time, I really liked that it actually affected the universe and it had huge stakes and ramifications. And now we're going to see all of that stuff play out. So this could be another huge brick in that wall. That's like a keystone.
I think there's going to be some earth-shattering things. So aside from the obvious cameos, I'm curious to see, does Venom show up? Is Charlie Cox going to show up as Matt Murdock? Here's one kind of theory I liked. If you notice, there's the scene at the Statue of Liberty, and it looks like it may be the big ending scene where the multiverses ripping realities are crossing. What other Marvel movie had a big third act ending at the Statue of Liberty?
The first X-Men.
Oh, what if some of those fuckers bleed through at that moment because they're just in the same...
But if you think it's going to be Wolverine in a leather suit?
Or Professor X, or one of them, or the back of them. They allude to it. I don't know. There's a reason.
Professor X is back.
Why are they at the Statue of Liberty?
Back of
You want to
So
see
just his
fucking,
back.
yeah, you
Just
wanna
his
see
balls.
Sir Patrick Stewart's back in the wheelchair.
Yeah, I want to see the back of his bald head. No, I want to see his face. But there's, the possibilities are endless. All sorts of
Where'd you
crazy
read
shit could happen.
Okay.
Where'd you read the X-Men theory?
I don't know. Somebody brought it up.
I don't.
Probably can't be brought it
I don't
up.
think that's going to happen.
I don't either.
Yeah, but it's curious right there at the Statue of
I
Liberty.
am curious though, because the trailer, if you watch Loki and then you watch the trailer, Loki's responsible for the multiverse, right?
Right when they Sylvie
All right,
is
this
really.
is what's going to happen on the Statue of Liberty. They're going to be fighting, and then a naked mermaid's going to come out of the water.
And he's going to go, bocce, Mike Stranger's going to go, bocce, balls.
Nobody knows that reference unless you watch Splash, which is an old movie.
Well, Tom Hanks has to be there
Yeah.
and stuff.
Is that the Tom Hanks one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Splash.
when Daryl
with,
Hannah is a
Daryl
mermaid.
Hannah. Oh,
And-
she's super hot. And
Yes.
she's like the hottest mermaid
He
you've
walks
ever
out of
seen.
the water butt naked, and
Yeah.
the guy's trying to give a tour of the Statue of Liberty.
Bocce balls. Oh, that's right. Now I remember that.
I do actually. We played
That's
that.
really
I think
funny.
we played
Yes, we
that.
did. We did play that. We looked that up. Okay, look, let's go around. Here's the last thing I want to do. Let's make some box office predictions. Let me set it up, though. So far in the pandemic, here's your top opening weekend domestic earners. F9 made $70 million. Eternals makes $71 million. Shang-Chi opens to $75 million. Black Widow opens to $80 million. And the top earner so far is Venom Let There Be Carnage at $90 million. Okay. Now, we had talked about how this movie did get approved. It passed the censors in China, the huge movie market of China, but it does not have a release date. Oh, shit. Yet in China. So and that's hundreds of millions of dollars off the table easily right there if it doesn't come out in China. With that said, I want to know, what do you think it makes opening weekend? And I'll tell you what their estimates are. And can it still break $1 billion in a pandemic without China? Anthony, go first.
It will not break $1 billion without China.
Oh, shit. Okay.
How much will it make opening weekend? I'm going to go 175.
Okay, so it will crack 100 million. It'll be the first movie to break 100 million.
I mean, you couldn't get tickets for that Thursday. People were, yeah, that's what I got.
You can
175.
bet on this on Gold Derby, by the way. There's an article at
Oh, really?
goldderby.com about box office predictions, and you can bet how much it's going to make. Yeah. Bellotti, hearing those numbers, does it break 100 million, and how much past 100 million?
I'm thinking, I want to say 215
Whoa.
Holy shit. Okay.
with China. With China.
Oh, shit.
If
Okay.
we don't have China,
No China.
I think it's going to be like 150.
No, what about domestic
Just
opening?
domestic only.
Oh, just domestic?
Yeah, opening weekend.
I think it's going to crack 100. Just from what
Okay.
I'm hearing, with pre-sales and Thursday nights being sold out.
Well, just for reference, it's not going to make as much money, but Endgame did 357 its first opening weekend.
Holy
357?
shit.
That's
Holy shit.
domestic or worldwide?
Domestic.
Oh,
Domestic,
shit.
it was
Wow,
$357
it killed.
million dollars.
Nothing's catching that movie for a long time.
Holy shit! Then I'll stand by my 215.
Well, they are the
Interesting.
box office estimates are like 190 to 200 million plus. Ruggs, what do you think it makes opening weekend?
I think it's going to make 200.
Really?
I think that's a good prediction.
Fuck. And does it break $1 billion without China overall?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think it breaks $1 billion without China.
See, I thought it was going to break $1 billion easily. I think maybe it scratches the $1 billion now.
It
There's
scratches
still
the billion's
potential.
nutsack. It's probably going to like hover at 800.
Well, it might. Well, however, though, if I can bring this up, I think, was it Force Awakens that didn't do well in China, but it still made $1 billion worldwide?
Yeah, and the Joker did not even come out in China.
And that made $1 billion.
Made $1 billion.
So there is a chance. It could, with inflation, it could make $1 billion without China.
And you know what? I'm going to change my prediction. I think it will make
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Because I forgot that the Chinese don't like Star Wars, but these movies keep making billions. And I'm like, who the fuck is seeing? Oh, it's probably the West.
All those
Okay.
people in Denmark.
Yeah, everyone
No,
Denmark,
Europe,
Amsterdam.
and there's a lot
Those
of
guys
Europeans
living in their
going to
mom's
movies.
basements. Those
Yeah,
guys.
now Saudi Arabia has opened up to movies and shit. They're getting all progressive. So
Well, they're buying wrestlers like it's Christmas.
Yeah. Do you know only 25 American movies got released this year in China? They're being really stingy.
has nothing to do with politics whatsoever.
Not at all. It has
They're
nothing
just
to
being
do with
protective of their people.
Winter Olympic boycott. Has nothing
Has
to do
nothing
with
to
any
do
of
with
this
that.
thing. No. Okay, so
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the one of the tennis players went missing, so that Olympic
jeez.
boycott is because of that.
Yeah, what's that actress? Fan Bingbing. She's like the biggest actress in China, and she like disappeared for 6 months.
Oh yeah, you can't say shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Anthony, I heard the U.S. is debating boycotting the Winter Olympics in Beijing altogether, which would be ironic because NBC would still have to air the Winter Olympics, but the U.S. wouldn't be there. So this is all probably why China does not want these American movies. Look, if Venom made $90 million opening weekend, it's got to open to triple that. I'm going to say like 180. I'm saying 180. Why wouldn't it triple the 90
Let's do the math there.
Or, sorry, 270. Double that.
Wait, what? Now you're saying 270 double.
No, okay, double, not triple.
Okay.
Triple is a lot.
270 would be triple.
Double. It's got to at least double the Venom opening.
At least.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. I think I was
I
too
can't do
conservative
math.
on my prediction.
I went to art school.
Yeah, that's true. You went to art school. You were more in the abstract than in the object.
Yes, I know numbers in the abstract sense.
Yeah.
I'll paint them.
Art
Okay,
is
so
subjective.
we'll see. I got more Spider-Man news coming up, but first I want to tell the listener, let us know what you think. Spider-Man opens up to domestic. Join the conversation. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Bellotti will let you in as long as you answer the questions properly.
Answer the question.
Just click I agree, guys. That's
There's
all
not
you
even
gotta
questions.
do.
There's just the checks box.
It's
There's
as
not
easy
even
as doing the
questions.
block test in kindergarten, for Christ's sakes.
All you gotta do is click a box and you say you agree to the rules.
scared to be evaluated.
That's all you got to do.
Yes, it's not hard. It's a closed group. It's a great place for geeks and nerds and jocks to hang out. It is the only place right now you can see photos of me and Jim McPike at this weekend's C2E2
Are you squeezing each
convention
other's nipples?
in Chicago. We might be rubbing each other's nipples. I don't know. You gotta go see what.
I'm going there right now.
You gotta go check out the photos.
advertisement for.
No, there's a
What are
picture
you
of
talking
me.
about? This is what I live to see.
There's a picture of me on a giant battle cat from He-Man that this guy made holding the
Really?
sword
Oh, I
of
wanna
power.
see
Wait, Jock and Her Nation?
Yeah, Jock and Nerd
I'm going there right
Nation.
now.
How do I find
we-
these pictures?
It's in the Facebook group.
I know,
wanna-
but you can't. Everyone's like
it was
algorithm is
recently
different.
posted. I pinned it to the top of the page.
Okay.
Anyways, thank you to C2E2 for the press badges. Anthony, sorry you weren't feeling well. You couldn't
I
make it. It
know.
was a good time.
Was it a good time?
Yes, I saw Lenny. Lenzations was there. He says hello.
How was attendance at the show, by the way?
It was, dude, Artist Alley was super packed. There was so much foot traffic. I was surprised. There was a lot of people.
Good.
Everybody's having a good time.
Good.
And yeah, everybody just had masks on. You had to be vaccinated or proof of negative test to get in. So I felt safe. And it was a great environment, great community. I will be putting out some audio that I recorded so you could hear live from the show floor.
Where are you going to put it?
I'm going to stick it up my asshole.
I stick it up my asshole.
It's going to come out as a bonus
episode.
episode. Sorry.
Or Patreon or for everybody?
No, it'll be in the regular feed.
Okay,
There'll be
cool.
like a convention special coming out. And also, got to say happy birthday to a listener, someone who's in our Jock and Nerd group. Jamie Robinson, Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast. He is Mr. Throwback Thursday. Happy 50th birthday, bud. He turns 50 the day this show posts, December 15th.
That guy's right in our freaking demo right there.
He is our
That's
target
our
audience.
50.
We got him for at least another 25 years.
How many listeners do you think we have under the age of 41?
Percentage-wise?
It's got to be like 5%.
I'm going to be a little more generous. I'm going to say maybe 25%. What'd you say? What age? 41?
41.
Oh, man. I'm going to say it's 30%. Maybe.
41's young.
41's young.
I know.
41's the
I
new
didn't say it was
31.
old. I'm just saying. That's our target demo right there.
I mean,
41
he decided to pick that number for a reason.
40 to 55 is our target demo.
No. I tell people it's 18 to 54,
No.
male and female.
No.
We got some young kids listening.
No,
I'm
we
sure of it.
I
We
don't
only got
think
the one guy.
Is there one?
We got a
the
couple.
Granford's son. I think Jimmy McPike, Rokas Barukas, probably a young guy, and then that's about it.
No, there was another
maybe
one,
just
too.
Rivera.
Just Rivera is the young guy. Yes.
Is he a young guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
And supple.
What?
Oh,
Excuse me, I didn't say that.
Wow.
He's dreamy. Anyways, happy 50th, Jamie. You made it. Enjoy. 50 is the new 40. Just remember that. I don't know.
Sure.
I'll be there in a few years. I don't want to think about it. Let's move on.
You look 68.
No, I'm more of like, I'm 82 on the outside.
I want to see Imran sitting on Battle Cat,
inside.
but I can't find it.
It's only in the Facebook group if you know how to use the internet. If you're not a puppet like Rug Boy, it's there. Don't worry.
You're
You'll find
82 on the outside, and then like you're like 95-year-old paranoid woman on the inside.
it. No, but also I'm like a 12-year-old
It's so
boy
true.
sometimes at the same
It's an old
time.
woman.
Well, I never. How
You're like a Karen.
dare you?
You're a Karen on the inside.
I'm
No,
like an old
will-
Karen. That's
No,
like
not a Karen.
Nah, he's progressive.
Is he? Okay. All right.
He's very progressive. He just believes in every conspiracy theory known to man.
I'm cold and there's wolves after me.
My fingers hurt.
That's what I am at the inside.
Someone
Okay,
give me a
back to
tall glass of milk.
Back to Spider-Man. Of course, there's going to be post-credit scenes, mid-credit scenes. Don't leave the theater. While none of them has been revealed, I believe there's going to be a mid-credit scene, but then there's a rumor that the end credit scene, the last thing may be the trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, remember, Kevin Feige did say WandaVision, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness are all this like big story arc. They all kind of connect. So it would make sense. They're finishing out whatever Spidey story. I think he shows up in Doctor Strange. But what do you guys think about that? Is that cheating us out of an end credit scene? Or I think that's a good place to drop a trailer, right?
The last time Marvel did that, they did at the end of Captain America: First Avenger. They did a trailer for Avengers.
Oh, they did. That's
Did they?
right.
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
When it came out.
Yep, that was the end credit scene, the trailer for Avengers. So they've done it before. It's been a while, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I really want to see. I know they were doing extensive reshoots, and while they were doing reshoots, Michael Keaton's like, "Oh, I'm shooting some Vulture shit for something," and I just assumed it was for Doctor Strange. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens in that movie. Wanda should be in it. That's going to be great. So stay in your seats, of course. The other thing I'm wondering, everyone wants to know, Tom Holland's contract. How many more movies do you think he's sticking around? Amy Pascal said we're looking at another trilogy. We used to have a number. We used to know the exact number of movies that solo Spider-Man movies and cameo movies he was contracted to. And I think that was only because of the Sony email hack. I don't know how that information got out. But he's talking to the Hollywood Reporter, and he says he has a new deal. Quote, the new deal that was struck up was this understanding between the two studios that should Marvel want me to appear in one of their movies, then it would be an open conversation. I don't think it's as black and white as I have a 3-picture deal with Marvel and a 3-picture deal with Sony. So it sounds like
he's got a 3-picture deal with Marvel and Sony.
Is that what it sounds like?
Oh, shit.
Sounds like he could go back and forth based on whatever they're planning. I guess this is a good thing. You guys ready for more Tom Holland until he's 35 as Spider-Man? Being an adult in college?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let him do it.
He's going to do it for a while.
Yeah, he even had to backtrack on those comments where he's like, if I'm playing Spider-Man when I'm 30, I did something wrong.
It's not his fault that Spider-Man's shitty. It's
right. He's just
he's just the vessel.
He's the
saying
vessel.
the lines.
He is the Bellotti had a funny comment earlier where you're like, I'm already looking forward to the next Spider-Man casting. Let's go.
The next
Let's
reboot.
fucking reboot it. Let's reboot it already.
reboot
What are we
it.
waiting for? Fuck it. After this movie, just get someone else. And then the last thing
Why is it this thing where Spider-Man's not allowed to age?
No, let him age. In this movie, I believe he's graduating high school. He's on his way to college.
As soon as Spider-Man he has a regular job and he's dating Mary Jane or getting married to Mary Jane, seems like, oh, this person can't
start over again.
We have to just completely stop. It's like life ends there. Like you get married and then that's it. Your life is over.
Everyone knows your life is over once you get married.
That's kind of accurate.
That's pretty much how it works.
It's all over.
Yeah.
Why do you think
nothing good ever happened?
That's the way Anthony is still.
I don't want my life to end.
No.
It's a trip.
Don't do it. You know what? The other thing occurred to me, speaking of Peter Parker growing up and getting a job, here's something they can't really do now, is have him work for J. Jonah Jameson taking photos of Spider-Man. They fucking blew that whole thing.
Yeah.
That's a little disappointing.
But like Hawkeye's got a family.
That's
and he's going on doing his thing. You know,
well, he may be done with doing his thing too. We'll talk about that. Last thing is press screenings for this movie. Apparently, they're only going to show like 40 minutes to the press to avoid any spoilers, which is, I don't know how you write a review of a thing only seeing 40 minutes.
Well, that sounds like Toby and Garfield are going to be at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds
in the
like.
third act. So they'll just let you see the beginning and then you just got to trust them. It's
how do you write a review
good.
for that?
I don't know. How do you trust these reviews now if you've only seen 40 minutes? Oh, the movie is premiering, by the way, right now as we speak.
Where is it at? Where's it premiering?
I think it's in California is where probably Los Angeles, Hollywood
Oakland?
is where they premiere. No, I don't know.
Probably not Oakland.
Probably not Oakland. Oakland at
I
night.
would be
you don't
at
want
that
to have
premiere.
people. Yeah,
Oakland
you don't want people going there. But it is
We're gonna do
screening
something
right
a little
now.
different. We're gonna do this one in Oakland.
So there may be spoilers and shit coming out. Be careful. There's only a few days left before it comes out. Before
They've been doing the thing where they had like Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon do like a promo, basically saying They were doing the whole like don't spoil it for your friends.
Please don't
type thing,
spoil it. Oh, they're doing a PSA.
Yeah, similar to what they did with Endgame.
It's very important. Oh, also, do you guys think someone's going to die? Everybody thinks someone's
I
going
think
to
I'm going to die from all of this talking about
We're
Spider-Man.
going to die. Someone's going to die in the movie.
He died 20 minutes ago, actually.
All right, let's talk about something that'll get your geek boner back up. Geek boner. That is season 4 of Cobra Kai on Netflix, you motherfuckers. It's coming out
I can't wait.
December 31st. New Year's binge. Get ready for a New Year's binge. They put out a new trailer with a lot more of one Terry Silver. Anthony, did you get to watch this trailer?
I did. I mean, it's still, it looks like more of the same. I've said it before and I'll say it again.
It's on brand.
Terry Silver is probably the one character from the original trilogy that fits in the most. Just you can plug and play him in this and it fits right away because he was so over the top in what was that, Karate Kid 3.
That's right.
The only thing I'm concerned about is there is going to be a shelf life on this thing. And I'm hoping that the shelf life isn't this season, as in they've already run out of stuff and this season might be pushing
I think that should just end here because there's no more Karate Kid stuff to pull from after this.
Yeah,
unless you get Hillary Swank.
I was going to say you get Hillary Swank rolling in there,
and then the Will Smith kid to come in.
Oh no!
Oh God,
don't
no!
do that. No, don't.
That's
do that.
when you've gone too far.
I heard talk of a season 5, but honestly, if this was the last season and they finish it nicely, I would be happy with it. Bellotti,
all
how
these
excited?
kids, by the way, are still like in high school, similar to Tom Holland.
Yes, for some
They're
reason
all like 26 years old now.
They're getting old. They're looking old. Bellotti, how excited are you to see Terry Silver? And it looks like at the end they tease that they're changing something big about the tournament. What's that going to be? That you can fight naked?
I think they're gonna. No.
Naked fighting.
What? You can juice up. You can use steroids. What's it going to be?
I think they're gonna let the instructors fight each other.
Oh shit! Oh, I want to see. I want to see that. I want to see old guys fight each other.
I don't know.
I think you can get the old instructions.
It's gonna be
naked. I think that's a great idea.
Saggy white people.
Imran with the fight naked suggestion when I just said these kids are supposed to be high schoolers.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So weird.
Not a good look for Imran. Any way you slice it, it's either lemon parties or pedophilia.
Oh, don't Google search lemon party. Whatever you do, I made the mistake.
Bellotti, that's a good suggestion. Any chance they do the kickboxer like Tong Po, Jean-Claude Van Damme, where they dip their hands in the resin and glasses on their hands?
Or like how they did in Hot Shots 2, where they dipped it in like hot fudge and ice cream and sprinkles. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
it was so stupid. God, I'm beyond excited for it. I'm like fucking Avengers. I remember when I watched the Infinity War trailer, like I was like I wanted to like jump out of my skin. I was so excited, and I felt as soon as I saw Terry Silver, I was like, like I got that MCU excitement.
Is there any way that this could be a letdown?
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I feel like that being hyped about it is a bad idea for me because like I know that when it comes to this, they've rolled the dice a bunch of times and they've hit.
It's worked so far.
But there's always a time they're going to roll the dice and it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And,
it's like
not the time.
It's like you guys just said. I mean, after this, like they don't have any more movies to pull from, so they have now they could go back and and like really talk about part 3 if it was like a real movie, not fucking the cartoon that it was.
The problem is too. I mean, I am also excited, but part 3, by all accounts, is an awful movie. So they're pulling from a lore that isn't very good.
I bet it'll elevate the movie a little. It'll make you see the movie. Because similar to how it made me see the first, this show made me look at the first movie completely different from like Johnny's point of view. I love that. Maybe it elevates the movie. It looks like there's some new kids they're getting.
Rewatch that movie. There's a couple things I want to point out. First off, Ralph Macchio is like almost 30 at that point.
Yeah, he's older than Terry Silver in that movie.
Yeah,
and he's like he's fat. He's like busting out of like his jacket. The love interest that he has isn't like, she just goes away midway through the movie.
Well,
They never hook up.
No, do you know why? Do you know? I read it. It's because she was underage and they didn't feel like it was appropriate. Right. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And they didn't have any time to recast her, so they were kind of. It sounds like they rushed into the production. From what I read,
of course. And the freaking final battle, he gets his ass kicked so badly throughout the whole thing, and is like such a little bitch, and like wins on like a technicality. It's technicality. It's so
he literally fought to the death in Okinawa in the second movie,
right,
against a guy that was probably better than Mike Barnes,
right.
You know,
and then he's just scared of Mike Barnes.
Then he's just scared of this guy when he was learning from Silver to be this animal. Then all of a sudden he's scared. And here's one thing that I always laugh at because I just rewatched it too. When he punches the kids. Remember, he breaks the kid's nose, and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Miyagi, I gotta go do something. I'll be right back." And then he goes to talk to Silver. Silver comes out. I don't know why he's wearing his gi, but he is, right?
Of course.
And then he tries to leave, right? And then what's his name? Kreese happens to also be there in his gi.
Oh, yeah.
And then Mike Barnes just happens to be in the back, and he's like, "All right, let's show him what we're talking about. Like, what were these guys doing? And what did they all like see him coming through did they look through the blinds of the window and see him coming? Like, all right, guys, you go here. We're going to surprise him."
It was like bad 80s movie, like evil villains, except it made absolutely no sense because these are like kids in a karate dojo.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Why is this multimillionaire like torturing a teenage boy? It's
got a lot of questions.
In the All Valley under 18.
Yeah. And his like butler and assistant don't question it at all. I mean, it's like Elon Musk going after like.
Wasn't he like he's like securing like illegal, like I forget, it was like
toxic waste.
Yeah,
of course, toxic waste. It's the 80s. You got to get toxic. What are you going to do with the toxic waste?
Getting rid of it for like money and shit.
Yeah,
I am going to rewatch that third movie before
it's great.
Last season hits. I got it because it looks like they're showing clips from it. They're going to pull a lot. I need to refresh my memory.
The only good thing
years.
they did was maybe like the little bonsai thing. That was about it.
Oh yeah,
and the bad with the green screen behind them
when he rappels down to get the bonsai tree. Yeah,
it's so bad. Like you can tell it's like a giant green screen behind him. It's horrible. And then planting like the fake bonsai tree.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Did you know that? You know when Mike Barnes
was that called the Devil's Throat or something?
Something like that.
Devil's anus.
Do
you want to hear a fun fact about the movie that my brother told me about? Because he's obsessed with bad movies like me. He found out that the kid Snake, who plays Mike Barnes' buddy, is actually Terry Silver's son.
Oh.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, really? What a terrible father. Wow. Awful. He's like kind of fat, but he's Diesel. He's like that weird, like fat Diesel looking kid.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's a little chub.
Yeah, he's a little chub, but he's got like a massive chest.
It's crazy that Ralph Macchio is older than Terry Silver.
Yeah.
He looks great still.
Who?
Macchio.
Wait, here's a question. Do you think any of these guys have practiced any karate
Doesn't
since
look
the third
like
season?
No. Doesn't look
to make
like
themselves look a little better when they throw on the gis and start throwing kicks.
The kids, maybe,
Absolutely
not the old dudes.
No, I'm not talking about the kids. I'm talking. You know who I'm talking about.
Ralph?
I'm specifically talking about Ralph Macchio.
Yeah,
Ralph
no, he has not.
He not trying at all.
No.
He's like, I'm riding this out. This not trying thing. I'm gonna keep going.
He's like, it's like riding a bike. I just remember when I was a teenager.
I just
don't
do
need
my
to practice.
kata. You
Just
know,
put my hands up. I'll put my leg. Stand on one leg. It's good. I got this.
Well, it'll be good to see at least they're doing something different, and now they're on the same team.
I like that. Yeah, I like that Johnny and Ralph got to join forces.
Well, I like that they're showing each other their own techniques. Like they're training like each other. I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, there was a scene where he's like in the batting cage and trying to like block gas balls coming at him.
Yeah, he's doing
Ralphing
push-ups.
at
He's doing push-ups in an abandoned warehouse. Like, that's so Johnny. He would
gonna be
totally
great.
do that.
It's gonna be great. You know what else is great? We T-shirts that we have on our T Public shop.
Almost as good as Cobra Kai. Yeah.
almost
as
as
good.
good.
Cobra Kai is a
Not
Jock and
as
Nerd
good.
podcast hoodie. It's getting cold. jockandnerd.com/shop. Get a T-shirt. There's spoiler time T-shirts, geek boner shirts. You can get Rug Boy on your face and chest simultaneously if you buy a mask and a shirt. Right? It's great. Get it for the geek in your life. I don't know. jockandnerd.com/shop. Just buy some things, people. Last thing in the news, Twitter put out a series of tweets detailing, talking about the end of the year wrap up and superhero movies of 2021. Do you guys want to guess what was the most tweeted about movie of 2021? Any guesses?
Titanic.
That is incorrect.
Ooh, I think I have a guess, and not because
Yes.
I clicked on the link. Was it Zack Snyder's Justice League?
It was Zack
And
Snyder's
I didn't click on the link that you
Justice
provided
League,
in the show notes. I just sort of guessed that.
beating out Spider-Man No Way Home and Eternals. Black Panther was at number 4. Black Widow at number 5. Suicide Squad number 6. Why would you guess that? It kind of makes sense. Bloody.
Oh, Titanic didn't come out in 2021.
No, it didn't.
That's true. Well,
How'd you figure that out, Bellotti?
I don't know. I just clicked on your link. Well, because it was. I think it's because if you remember correctly, if I remember correctly, that movie was willed into existence by the fans on Twitter, was it not?
Absolutely.
It was. So
Twitter
so that makes perfect sense that those
movie.
Twitter kids would go on and tweet
Impossible.
about
It was not, okay? It's not done that way. I have it on good record.
They tweeted it into existence, and then they went and patted
literally
themselves
did.
on the
That's
back.
impossible.
It's
How
impossible.
did that happen?
And then they went on Twitter and tried to tweet climate change, and it didn't work out, and they realized that they failed.
They could get a movie made. They can't fix the climate.
They can't
through
fix
Twitter.
climate, but they can get a subpar superhero movie made.
What do you think of that movie, Bellotti? It's not that bad,
It's actually not. For 4 hours, I was actually entertained. I was shockingly entertained.
There's some epic shit in there.
And Superman was cool. I mean, there's no explanation for the black suit whatsoever.
No.
And he kind of still doesn't talk, and that's a little weird. And I like Cyborg, but I just don't want to see that DC universe. It sucks.
Well, it's over. That
really
part
sucks.
of it is over.
Like they're sucking, and then there's what these guys did. It's amazing.
Are you looking forward to The Batman, though? Matt Reeves' The Batman.
I'm looking forward to a new Matt Reeves movie.
Yeah.
And what he did with the Apes movies was unparalleled. To make movies about talking gorillas that fucking good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it only because of him. If it was not him, I would be like, I'll stay home, watch it on HBO Max, I guess.
I think it's going to be good.
I'm sure it's going to be good. It looks like it's almost like the movie Seven. It looks like it's very inspired by Seven.
All right, that's it for the news. For now, we're going to take a quick break right here, play some promos, and come back and talk about this week's episode of Hawkeye on Disney Plus right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I'm Imran.
And I'm Sophia.
I'm the brother.
And I'm the sister. And we are watching a show about cousins.
We're your hosts for Dance of Joy, a Perfect Strangers rewatch podcast.
We grew up watching the 80s hit sitcom, and now we'd like you to join us every week as we rediscover our love for our favorite TV cousins, Balky and Larry.
You can find our show at danceofjoypod.com and on all major podcast platforms. Now we are so happy, Sophia. We do the Dance of Joy.
Imran, this is a podcast. They can't see us.
Oh, po.
Hey, my name's Paul, and I'm not an animal expert.
I'm Donna, and I'm not an animal expert either.
And together we do a podcast about animals called Varmints.
Every week we pick an animal, do a bunch of research on it, and bring you some interesting facts about that animal.
But we don't stop there. We talk about that animal in movies, TV, and other pop culture.
And we talk about whether or not that animal would make a tasty dish, and how intelligent we think it is on the scale of 1 to 10.
It's exactly like one of those fancy PBS nature documentaries.
Except with more poo jokes.
New episodes go live every Thursday wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Or you can visit us at blazingcariboustudios.com.
Varmints! Varmints!
Doc and Nerd Podcast.
Listener, if you enjoy the show and want to support the show, visit our fan club, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd gets you a bunch of cool stuff when you support the show, like access to an exclusive RSS feed where the shows come out early. There's bonus content, instant reactions. Oh, you better believe this week there will be instant reactions to Spider-Man No Way Home. And there are post shows. I want to say a huge thank you to our listener, Patreon supporter, Jesse Rodriguez, who has been enjoying the last 2 post shows we came out. He's loved them so much that he increased his support this week. Thank you, Jesse Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Uncle Jess.
He enjoyed our conversation about movie runners, and then Ruggs, he really enjoyed us just talking about action shows from the 80s and 90s for like 20 minutes.
Bullshit about anything you want.
We were just bullshitting about old TV shows that sucked that we used to watch, and he loved that. So there's always fun stuff like that.
Were you thinking of your next show that you're going to do a podcast on?
No, we went down a rabbit hole of like, because Ruggs started talking about Knight Rider. And then we were like, what other shows were there we used to watch that suck?
Netflix. So I went down a rabbit hole.
These shows do not hold up, but they're nostalgia porn for us. There also, you get, when you sign up for our Patreon Discord benefits, you can join our exclusive Patreon-only Discord server, monthly Geek Out Hangouts. We've been doing it every month. Lots of fun. This month's Hangout, December 23rd, Thursday. That's next week. 8 p.m. We'll geek out about Spider-Man.
Yeah, come
No Way
bullshit
Home
with us.
I'll see if Dope Pope wants in again. He had fun last time. Ethan popped in from Australia. That was fun.
Gotta get Bellotti in on this.
Bellotti, if you're free and not doing nothing, Christmas Eve, you can come hang out and voice your opinion.
Because I'm not going to be there.
Oh, shit.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. You never know who shows up, listener. That's why you got to sign up, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay, let's get to this week's review. We are up to Hawkeye, episode 4 on Disney Plus. This episode titled Partners. Am I right? Here's your spoiler alert.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Anthony, catch us up. What happened on episode 4?
This is going to be tough.
This week. Yeah.
Because I watched it when it came out last week, and it's been a while, but
do the best you can.
Let me think about this. So it ended 2 weeks ago with them in Kate Bishop's house, and the swordsman had a sword to Hawkeye's neck.
Jack Duquesne,
and they're there because they're basically trying to figure out who Jack is and who some of these tracksuit mafia people are. So then we have a little scene where Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are explaining this to the family. The family is like, yeah, please just leave our daughter out of it. So Hawkeye's kind of solo. Kate Bishop's not helping him, but then they get back together because Hawkeye's sad because he's not around his kids.
Yeah, he's alone.
So they do a little movie night. And they're just tracking down this watch. Tracking down a watch because at the beginning of the season, the Tracksuit Mafia was trying to get this watch. And there's some sort of significance to this watch. And a bunch of other shit happens. I'm not going to run through the entire thing because it's only a 40-minute episode and I don't want to.
Well, we all know
the
that
entire plot.
We all know that the watch is the watch that Christopher Walken brought over from.
I carried this watch, Uncle Metal, up my ass for 6 months for your father. It's not that watch.
It's
that
your
would have been amazing.
birthright.
It's the fucking Pulp Fiction watch. There's a mystery about the watch. And we get a cameo of a returning character. There's a rooftop fight scene. We'll get into all of that. Bellotti, what do you think of the show so far, Hawkeye, 4 episodes in?
It's probably the most convenient writing I've ever seen.
Oh, it's super convenient. Absolutely. It's so much convenience.
I have a hard time getting past that. Or like the first episode when she's fighting the people, the tracksuit guys. And she's like trying to open a car door in New York City, and one of them was open. And I was like, that doesn't happen in New York City. And then it happened again with episode 4, where she gets knocked off the roof, and then she just walks into the building to go upstairs. That doesn't happen. You got to buzz to get in. So
That's true. The first time she walks in with someone, the second time she just walks right in the building.
Yeah, all the New York stuff just annoys me because it's so like you can't have a car chase like that in New York. It's
no.
You go to Staten Island or maybe way out in Queens, but you're not going over the Manhattan Bridge like that shit. Come on, come on, you do it. It's entertaining, but for Marvel, it's like I said, it's really convenient, and Marvel. They don't usually write this convenient, so I'm a little taken aback by it, a little disappointed. It's holding my interest. You know, I don't remember Echo from the books, but I know she came later. I think
she's in Daredevils.
Yes, and she is the stepdaughter of Kingpin, right?
Correct.
And she has the hand, but from her father. You know, the hand on the face. I don't know if she had the prosthetic limb.
No,
that's real.
So that's for the actor has a prosthetic leg. And she's a deaf actress.
The actress has a prosthetic limb?
Yeah.
I like how they work it into some of the fight scenes. Like they didn't do it a lot this episode, but they did it in the other one.
Wow, that's a very inclusive casting choice there.
She's great. Also,
she's
the
deaf
girl,
real deaf and real prosthetic.
Wow.
She's amazing. The girl that played her younger in the flashback, it was like her cousin, which is why she looked just like her.
Oh.
But I do like Alakwa Cox is her name. So far I'm enjoying her performance.
Is she Native American?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. She's checked all the boxes.
All the boxes have been checked.
Shit.
Yes.
Talk about the most woke character ever.
Well, there's only one thing left.
Hey, what's that?
What's that?
Don't say it. I don't know what
don't say
even leave it.
You know what it is. I don't even say it.
All right, well, what do you think about what happened in this episode?
Are we going right to the spoils or?
Okay, I'll tell you. She has to be a computer hacker.
Oh, yeah, everyone. No, Kate Bishop is the computer hacker. We can spoil it. Go ahead.
Well, the Yelena Bula shows up at the end.
Oh my God, it was a clunky introduction, but I was excited to see her.
First of all, the stunt lady and whatever don't look anything like body wise. I'm like, why is all of a sudden she a foot shorter? The person who was,
and she comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't even like a hint of someone's watching you. All of a sudden, he's just like fighting her. Like she's just there.
I wasn't surprised because there was. I didn't read any spoilers, but I kept seeing what's her name, Florence Pugh, trending, and I kept seeing pictures. Like, oh fuck, does that mean she's on? And I was like, you know what? That probably means she's on the show. And so when she showed up, I was like, okay. That makes sense.
Instagram actually blocked her account because she was like posting about being in the show before it actually came out, and they turned her account off or something.
Yeah, I think that when they show the flashback to Echo, that was totally the Kingpin.
100%. Yeah, I thought that was the cameo we were gonna get. Maybe it's next week.
Oh, that was episode 3. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Definitely think that's Wilson Fisk.
Yeah, I think they're bringing him in.
Well, if you remember from Black Widow, we knew that she was going to show up in this show.
Yeah,
because the end credit scene, I thought the fight scene was okay. It wasn't kind of hard to figure out what was going on, but there was a nice little callback where Kate Bishop has a chance to basically shoot Yelena Belova, and she shakes her head like, no, don't do it. And that's basically like a callback to when Clint and Black Widow, they always refer to this. Clint was sent to assassinate Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, and he made a different call.
Well, that's the conversation they have earlier, where she's like, "What's the best shot you ever took?" And he goes, "The one I didn't take." And he tells her the story, and that was great.
So there's probably some foreshadowing there of a relationship between Kate and Yelena being like good friends or whatever.
They're probably going to become friends. I like seeing the red stingers, like the Black Widow color stingers, and he knew right away, like there's a widow after me.
That's when it gets real.
That's when it gets real. Why? My question is still, why do you think Valentina wants Clint killed? Why does she want him out of the way? What does he know?
I guess that'll be revealed. I guess there's some sort of Dark Avengers thing that they're building towards.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're building towards a team. I don't know if it's even Valentina or maybe like someone paid.
Her boss.
Yeah, someone paid for it, and Valentina's delivering the message.
Does she do that in the books? Has anyone read up on her?
Valentina?
She's a Hydra agent in the books, isn't she?
Yeah,
everything.
She doesn't really do much like this. They're using her in a different fashion.
Yeah.
She's like changed so many things, and like she was a love interest, and she was S.H.I.E.L.D., and she was Hydra. Like they kind of write her in the books to kind of fill whatever role
she
they
was
need
Fury's love interest at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, does she have the green costume in the books? for the green costume?
I think it's Madame Hydra.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's who she's supposed to be.
No, I think she's her own thing. Valentina has like purple.
Oh, okay.
Contessa Allegra, Valentina. Yeah, and by the end of it, they're split up again. Clint's like, go home. This has gotten real. We're done. But obviously, they're going to get back together because there's still scenes in the Rockefeller Center where they're next to each other. I want to talk about Clint's wife, Laura Barton. She knows more things than I thought she knew. I think
She's
it's
a little
very
spy-like.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. She can speak German.
Maybe she was a CIA agent.
Was she a SHIELD agent? Former SHIELD agent? There's a transmitter that they have that tracks the watch. She's the one that brings up the watch.
But he's going to her to like look up.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, she's his fucking guy in the chair, and she knows a lot. So I'm like, and so what he says about the watch is that it belongs to someone he used to work with who has been out of the game for a long time, but their identity is tied to the watch. Whose fucking watch is it? I thought it was Tony Stark's watch, but I don't think it is.
I don't
Is
think
it his
watch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's someone that's going to be tied back to his family and potentially put him in danger.
Could be his brother.
Yeah,
because
he has a brother in the comics that he's never talked about. Is it her? Is it Laura Barton's watch? Is it his watch? Is it Fury's watch? Is it a new character that they can introduce?
Could be a new character,
right?
Yeah, they can go that route.
It's the one who remains.
Oh God,
he doesn't need a watch. He is time.
He is a watch.
Yeah,
a human.
It's
watch.
Jack's evil brother, Jack Duquesne's evil brother, Jack Ducocaine.
Jack Duquesne. Coke Duquesne. My name is Coke Duquesne. But I mean, overall, this episode, I feel like episode 3 and 4 could have been like one episode. It was kind of just like a hangout, kind of slow down episode. I did enjoy the hanging out part, and when she brought him pizzas and she learns how to fling a quarter like a weapon, which is like a thing from the comics too. And obviously, that's going to come in handy probably in the last episode where she flicks a fucking quarter to save the day.
Yeah, and then Michael Jackson's going to start dancing and saying, "Are you okay?"
It's one of those episodes where they're kind of putting all the pieces in place. Like, okay, now we have this person, this thing, and this thing's going to be like. So, I thought it was fine. I wasn't. I think overall the show has just been okay for me. I'm not like blown away by it, but I'm not offended as much as Bellotti is. Although if I lived in New York, I would be offended.
You would definitely be offended.
Yeah, but I think it's more just exciting in that potentially we'll get the Kingpin. Like I think that's kind of the hook for me at this point.
And Kingpin brings other things into the fold as well.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you guys something about this, about Marvel in general. And, like, obviously we're all Marvel fans and we all drink the Kool-Aid with it. Do you get sort of taken out of it a little bit because you're just waiting for the setup for the next thing as opposed to just enjoying what it is at the moment? You know what I'm saying? Like
a little bit. I see what you're saying.
Like when you watch, like, I don't know, a movie like Winter Soldier, like you're just watching Winter Soldier and there's nothing else around it. But when you're watching something like this, or I don't know, Captain Marvel, or even Doctor Strange, you're just sort of waiting to see what they build towards. And it's like, oh, they're going to bring this guy in and I just want to get to that. And I don't care about Clint's story. I just wonder if there's like a limit to that, or if there's a point where it's like, can we just focus on what's in front of us instead of what's coming? Which is, I think a lot of people have criticized Marvel for, but I think those people haven't seen the best of Marvel. I think they just go off of some of the weaker entries.
Well, I think when you have a universe that is based in places that actually exist, like, for example, they're in New York right now.
Yeah.
There's going to be if there's New York stuff that's established, it should maybe cross paths. Like if you're having a fucking crazy shit blowing up, Doctor Strange might be like, hey, there's something blowing up over there. And Spider-Man might be like, hey, there's something blowing up over there. It's my city, It's like they're all in the same place. And it's weird that they don't affect each other. All of these different heroes that are in New York right now. Like,
well, we just talked about how you see the Rogers, the musical billboard in that Spider-Man clip. Like, where's fucking Spider-Man and all this? Is this happening at the same time as this movie?
Well, this takes place, like a year after Endgame or something?
Correct.
And he could have been in England, right? For Far From Home. Isn't that how Marvel usually tries to like skirt around it?
Yeah, he could
Right.
be. Yeah.
Remember, because like Ragnarok, Thor, like that took Thor and Hulk out of the Civil War equation.
Oh, right.
Like, I think that for the most part, like a lot of this stuff can be under the radar, like just as typical New York shit that happens.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you have a giant arrow that's flying out of the sky, it's like screams Hawkeye, and Spider-Man's like, I know that guy. I
think I know him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the other problem is, we want to hear about the next announcement, phase 4, phase 5. What are you building up to? Let me get the logos. Let me get the schedule. And now you have set this. Imagine we didn't know. Imagine they didn't tell us anything. And we just had to watch one thing at a time and wait till the end to see what was being set up. But I think, Bellotti, to your point, it does kind of take some of the wind out of it, where I do kind of feel I'm like, all right, just get to it. We know it's getting here. Let's go. And I can't just enjoy the moment as much.
The problem, I think, with this, I think there's some stuff that Marvel does where you are kind of like more excited for what's next, and there's some stuff that you're just enjoying what they're putting in front of you. I think for Hawkeye so far, I don't think they're really. I think it's a fine, like as I mentioned, I think it's a fine show. I think the acting's fine. I think I do enjoy Kate Bishop. I like Clint Barton. I like some of the stuff. But I don't think they're necessarily going for a home run show right now. And it kind of shows. So
it's a bridge. These are all like bridge shows.
It's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bridge. I just say it's just kind of like, it's just like a nice little like snack. But it's not really. They're not really like. I don't think they're aiming for greatness with this show.
They're just like towing the line right now.
Yeah. So and we kind of all knew that when we saw the trailers for this. So we're like, oh, this is what it is. It's a little fun little Christmas show. So. I don't really like. I don't think we're overwhelmed by it, because I don't think they're trying to overwhelm anyone with this stuff.
Well, it's always funny when Marvel, they'll release a show, and before it finishes, they say, "Oh, like Echo's getting a spinoff." It's like, "Yo, we just met her," and then it's like Agatha, which I don't even know if the world really needs a show on Agatha Harkness.
They're making. There's like 15 things coming out in the next year.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants an Echo show or just getting to know the character. And I
they
guess
announced that shit before we even met the character.
That's what I mean. It's like, okay, so I guess the character doesn't die. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm really curious how that Echo show, how they're going to do that.
Well, I think she turns and she's.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that she's actually deaf.
Oh, well, everyone just has to learn sign language.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, pretty much.
A whole sign language show.
Yeah. They get, put Daredevil in.
It'll be like Sound of Metal.
Dude, that was a great movie. It's all in the sound mixing.
When she stomped on the thing, on the hearing aid, I was like, oh, that's like, I remember that from Sound of Metal. Deaf people don't like hearing aids.
No, they're like, embrace it.
They embrace it. They don't think of it as
learn
it. I remember that.
I mean, in her case, it like gave her kind of enhanced her other senses. She can still, she can do stuff.
That's her whole thing. Is she's able to? She's like Taskmaster. She can mimic anything because she's had to pay attention to everything.
Yeah,
at a different level.
And Kate does figure out Clint is Ronin, pretty much in this episode. I thought that was interesting. We find out Jack Duquesne is the CEO of the company that runs the Tracksuit Mafia. And Eleanor calls her boss. But do you think Jack is being used? Does he know he's the CEO? I don't know about Jack anymore.
Yeah, he's dirty.
But is he dirtier than the mom? Because the mom is definitely
the mom
shady.
Is the dirtiest of the dirty.
Who is pulling the fucking strings?
I actually don't really like Jack's character.
Yeah,
because he just is not a real person to me at all.
He's kind of goofy.
Yeah, he's a little.
No one acts like that.
He reminds me of like Ricardo Montalban from Fantasy Island or something. Go to the island and fulfill all your fantasies.
A little Desi Arnaz from I Love Lucy.
It's a little goofy. It's a little goofy.
But that was cute when he got her mom to dance and he says all the sayings wrong and I don't know. It's a killer.
It was a cute little thing.
Yeah. Clint gets his sword back on the down low, which is good. So he's got the Ronin sword and the suit.
One of the problems I think with the Marvel shows so far is because they're doing the whole like we're going to reveal the villain at the end type thing.
Yeah.
I mentioned this on, I think, the first 2 episodes that we reviewed. You're not really like, there's not like an epic clash you're building towards.
Yeah.
You're not like Daredevil season 1. I said this before, I'll say it again. you were really looking forward to Daredevil versus Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you wanted to see.
I still think about that last episode where they face each other and he goes, he's like, this city's mine, and he's like, come take it. Like that whole fucking buildup was incredible.
Right. Whereas Marvel's gone the route, they've done this with WandaVision, they did this now with Loki, and they're doing it here with Hawkeye, is they're going with this mystery behind who's the villain and what's going on, which is like, I am interested in like the reveal, but it doesn't make for a very good final, like, what are we building towards type thing. We're building towards a reveal rather than a conflict being like decided.
Right.
Whereas Daredevil, you had like two freight trains heading towards each other.
You don't have that here.
And the characters are more
that
developed if you do it the other way.
Yeah.
Where
it's a choice.
You develop this villain, and the villain changes throughout the story and gets more and more powerful, or gets more and more diabolical or desperate, or gets some kind of huge advantage. So reveal will at the penultimate episodes, if you reveal the villain, then it's all exposition of what them explaining themselves. And that kind of like sucks. So it's better to create a villain throughout the whole story and let that villain grow and become more powerful and be the opposite side of the coin to the hero. And it just makes it have so much more depth.
When they collide eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, they for whatever reason, they've really latched on to like the whole mystery, like what's the mystery type thing.
It's fan stuff. For everything. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I guess they really are enabling like fan. That's what they want is fan speculation.
Chatter.
Yeah, they want people to guess. They want people to. I mean, I even think that Spider-Man trailer where you see the lizard getting punched by someone invisible. At first, I was like, why would they let that out? But they do that shit on purpose. They like fucking with people. They want people to talk about it. And now they just milk that on these shows, where else you should have. It would be nice to have it developed. They've got a villain problem. Like, they haven't really developed a lot of their recent villains.
It's
they've
outside
always, of your Thanos.
They've always kind of had a villain problem. Although the build up to Thanos was incredible. And it totally
that worked.
Delivered. And I think Mysterio was a good build up. I mean, it was obvious that he was lying the whole time, the whole first half of the movie, but the whole late movie reveal.
Yeah, the third act reveal.
That's the
they're relying on that a lot, especially
it's a lot. And
in these shows.
There's no payoff. Like that whole I always go back to that first season of Daredevil where they meet up, or Batman and Joker in The Dark Knight. It all leads to like one moment. And they don't do that very well. And
also, if Kate works at a security company, how did she not know that like blinking strobe lights are alarms for hard of hearing people? You'd think she would have fucking picked that up right away when they were in the apartment.
Conveniently not.
Yeah, Kate. She works at a security company, her mom's security company.
Well, she doesn't really work there. She's kind of written as a dumbass.
Yeah, she really is. But then sometimes she's very capable when she needs to be, but she is written
she's
like
very athletic.
Required.
Yeah.
She's athletic, but she's not written very smart.
No, she isn't. Okay, what do you guys think, Bellotti? Do you think Clint makes it home for Christmas? Do you think Hawkeye survives this show? Do they kill him in this show?
No.
And pass it up.
That wasn't even a thought in my head.
Okay, that's a little probably too dark for this lighthearted.
I think I think what we're looking at is a passing of the torch. I think I see what they're doing. They're sort of going to go with like a Young Avengers, a little bit more diverse sort of MCU from here on out with them. They had the white guys,
That's time for the kids.
This is the 4 white dudes, and now it's like, okay, let's get some women in there. Let's change it up a bit.
No, they're definitely building the Young Avengers. There was another rumor that Haley Stanfield was on the set of Ant-Man Quantumania.
Right. Oh.
And then people are saying, maybe she's recruiting Cassie Lang to be in the Young Avengers.
Right.
She have all of them.
She's too good of an actress to just be in this one series. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have casted her for a one-off.
Yeah, no, she'll be in a big movie.
Yeah, and she's young. Like Marvel likes them young, right? They get them young, like the way Disney likes to get them.
Get them when they're babies.
Get them when they're babies, and just hook them onto the drugs of Disney.
There's some programming in Mickey Mouse that makes babies hooked.
But financially, it makes sense because then they could, unless they're Sam Jackson, who just makes 1,000 movies a year, he doesn't care. But you got her young, and then you could just make like trilogy of movies with her. It makes perfect sense business wise.
Do you think this whole series is based on that Matt Fraction David Asia run, and we were talking about how they're pulling a lot of visuals from the David Asia art, probably not writing him a check. They do it again in this episode. That one T-shirt Kate is wearing at Clint's place, the Leica, it's black and white. She wears the same shirt in the comics, and the shirt is actually designed by David Asia based on the first Russian dog in space, Leica. Bellotti, they should send him a check every time they use his shit, and they're probably not. What do you think?
If they're using his artwork on a shirt, you have to get clearance for that. And if you don't, then you have to pay. And I think, and I could be completely wrong, but because they use so much of his stuff in the marketing of it, that might have been a way to give him some money, rather than say, oh, yeah, we were inspired by it. We don't know you anything, but hey, we're going to use your shirt. Let's cut your check for $10,000 or something. That's usually how it works.
Okay, that's not bad. That's if he that's
and good for him. Good for him if he's he should be getting money. I mean, that's like I said, you have to get official clearance. We can't even spray graffiti on the wall that looks like real graffiti because apparently we can get sued. Like that's how
by the graffiti artist.
Yes,
by really.
Yes, I have to make it up. I have to go and just write gibberish on the wall.
You can't mimic someone's tag if you want it.
You cannot mimic it.
Holy shit.
You have to get clearance. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that
Can you just do a dick and balls?
Yeah, just draw dick and balls everywhere.
As long as it's not on an existing piece of
as long as nobody else has spray painted dick and balls anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's wild. Because how are you going to track down that dude?
Could sue you for that.
To get, she owns the dick and balls.
She really is.
You have to get licensing from her. License that out, Lisa Morrison. You'll make millions. All right. So far, it was a good episode. I think they're teasing that episode 5 will break the internet. Now,
here's what's going to happen.
What's going to happen? Because it leads up into Spider-Man. Does it tie into Spider-Man?
Yeah, here's what's going to happen. Wilson Fisk is going to show up in this one.
Yep.
And then Daredevil's going to show up at Spider-Man later in the week. And then you'll have the both of them have shown up now in a Marvel thing.
And there it is. Boom, boom, done. Man, if that's what they're planning and they pull that off, that shit is crazy. That's going to be great.
The only thing I'm wondering is if it's like the same Wilson Fisk or if they're just using the same actor, but it's a different interpretation of Wilson Fisk.
I think they'll be the same actor and a different interpretation.
Okay.
Right. But different interpretation of both characters. It's not going to be the same Daredevil Wilson Fisk from Netflix, but it is going to be Wilson Fisk, but it's going to be their own Wilson Fisk.
I don't know how you change it. To acknowledging the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, no. I think they rewrite it. How you change it, I'm not sure, to make it your own.
I think that the Marvel stands will allow anything. So
they just want to see him.
Yeah, they've already permitted this. They've consented to. All right, use Wilson Fisk however you like, as long as you get Wilson Fisk with this actor. You can do whatever you want. You can change things, but as long as it's Vincent D'Onofrio and he's Wilson Fisk, we're good.
Yeah.
And the same with Daredevil. I think if you want Cox, you get it. You get Cox.
You're going to get Cox.
In the red suit.
But we're going to do it our way.
Yeah.
Got to make it, like maybe we meet Matt Murdock in Spider-Man and he's not Daredevil yet. Something like that. He's still got to become Daredevil.
Be a little weird.
It'd definitely be weird.
It's be really weird.
Yeah.
You'd have to play a lot of mental gymnastics.
Like what?
But
how did? Was it?
I'd like to see them acknowledge it. I'd like to see that, but tonally those Netflix shows, especially Daredevil, are so different than what the Marvel MCU was doing or is doing.
Yeah, they were actually good.
For the most part, they were compelling.
They were very good. I mean, it still holds up as like one of the best superhero TV shows.
That was a great show.
I think
I loved all 3 of those seasons.
I never watched season 3. Is it worth watching?
Season 3 is great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the one with Bernthal and Punisher comes back, right?
You're absolutely wrong.
That's the second one?
That's the second one. Hawkeye is in the...
It's Bullseye.
Bullseye is in the third one.
Oh, the Bullseye.
They do the whole
what if Bullseye's watch? I don't know.
That's a pretty deep cut right there.
Yeah, well, Hawkeye is just Bullseye.
In the comics, Bullseye does become bad Hawkeye. He becomes Dark Avenger Hawkeye.
Oh, he does.
Really?
Yeah. When they put together Dark Avengers, he's Hawkeye.
Makes sense.
They have the same talent.
Well, it does make sense.
I'd love to see that Hawkeye come back. He was fucking. You should watch that third season, Melania.
It's good.
It was
I will. Is it on? Is it still on Netflix or where?
Is it still on Netflix? That is a good question.
I was watching it the other day.
Oh, it is. Okay, they should keep that on there.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like,
watch them all again.
I was like, oh, wait, I never saw. Now, does the third season take place after the Defenders or before?
It does, yeah.
After
up
the
right
Defenders.
after the Defenders.
So do I need to watch the Defenders?
No.
I never watched that or Iron Fist.
All you need to know from the Defenders that will be relevant to Daredevil season 3 is Charlie Cox at the end of the Defenders basically has a building fall on him because he doesn't want to leave Elektra.
Oh, okay.
So they both kind of like it. Yeah, they get crumpled in rubble.
Oh, okay.
So that's
yeah. Don't watch Defenders. It was shite.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good.
Wasn't good. It wasn't the worst, but it was.
It wasn't Iron
definitely
Fist.
No, it wasn't Iron Fist bad, but it was a
the
letdown.
immortal Iron Fist, the protector of Kunlun.
Colleen, do you know who I am, Colleen? I'm Danny Rand.
Danny Rand, the immortal
fuck
protector
up.
of Iron Fist.
So we'll probably see more Yelena. Also, the promo for next episode shows more Yelena being charming.
I like Florence Pugh.
She's great. I can't wait to see more of her. I want to see more of her chemistry. She does the 3-point landing, even though she doesn't like doing it. She does it in the episode. Or the stunt person does.
She was a bright point for me in the Black Widow movie.
She's great.
Yeah, I really just didn't care for that movie, but I liked her. She was good.
Right on. We'll see. Episode 5 should be a big one, and maybe it ties into Spider-Man. Let's do some news from the nation right now. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
This is going great. A quick rapid fire fart right off the top.
Because you don't expect it, and it always makes you chuckle.
Yeah.
Always makes you chuckle. Blake Braden posted a link to an article titled Cowboy Bebop canceled at Netflix after one season, saying he enjoyed it. He thought it was pretty good, actually. It got canceled just a few weeks after it premiered.
Weren't you guys like talking about this show and things?
We were. We watched the
anticipating
whole
it.
thing. It's one of the most beloved animes. Bruggs and I watched the whole thing. A lot of people in the Facebook group. It's split decision a lot. It seemed like people who didn't know the anime enjoyed the show. Some people who loved the anime thought the show was very disappointing. And then some people who saw the anime also enjoyed the show. So broad spectrum, but gone are the days when you give a show a couple of seasons to develop and succeed if it doesn't hit. I don't know, Ruggs, what do you think? Is this a justified going out like Jupiter's Legacy? Like that show, I can understand.
They could have tuned it up and made it better. Just like Jupiter's Legacy, they could have tuned it up, made it better. I think it was so expensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they did like a lot of, it had a lot of CG.
Yeah.
It had a lot of sets that they had to build, and they had a lot of costume design, and they had to, it was really like, I would say set heavy. There are a lot of sets. So I think that's expensive and time consuming. And the action sequences left a lot to be desired. So they really needed to spend more money on that. And I don't think that the reception was good enough. And the amount of hype and talk.
The buzz.
All of the buzz was bad. Like everything. Because what happened was they released the images of the characters. And then one of the female character who was playing, I forgot her name already.
Faye
Valentine went did this tirade against the fans, calling them losers and shit. And
that's never helpful.
And that just automatically, like, all right, now you just stacked the deck against you now.
Yeah.
And then this show better be awesome. And you know what? She wasn't bad at all.
No,
really.
she wasn't. Yeah,
she was fine as an actress and everything. They just gave her stupid things to say and stupid things to do, but it wasn't really her portrayal that was bad. So that's a writing problem. And this was fraught with writing problems because Cowboy Bebop is a very much this kind of class based thing where the whole thing about Cowboy Bebop is that like their they're criminals, but they have a better code of honor than most people who are supposedly white collar or cops,
right,
or whatever. Like the cops are all crooked, the white collar people are all fucking miserable, terrible people. But these bounty hunters have a code, and they're a family. They stick together, and they help each other out, and they even like cut people a break. They even like at their own loss of money and losing bounties, they actually kind of always err on the side of being good,
right.
And this show kind of they lost that focus a little bit. And what they did with the character at the end, I'm going to spoil it. They took like this main bad character that's kind of
Radical Ed, or you mean Vicious?
No, I'm talking about Vicious.
Okay, Vicious.
Like Vicious is like this looming character in the anime that you don't really see a lot of. And here they did the mistake of they used him too much.
Yeah.
And he was like a whiny bitch. They tried to like almost like what's his name in the new Darth Vader movies? What's his name? Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah.
I hate when I can't remember a name right away. Kylo Ren, like Kylo Ren was like a whiny bitch, and everybody was making fun. Like it was like the same effect. Like too much of the bad guy, too whiny, too stupid, blah blah blah. It was almost like Dark Helmet from fucking Spaceballs.
Oh my god, from Spaceballs.
And then on top of that, you do this thing at the very, very end of the story where his girlfriend, who's supposedly this girl who was like being oppressed by him, ends up being the major badass at the end. Right. And does this more like total like 360, 180 in a
heel
flip.
turn? That wasn't in the anime?
No.
Wow.
He dies.
Oh, shit. Spoilers.
Yeah. And actually the anime ends like, in a very depressing place, but they kind of screwed that up. Like then they to put more salt on the wound, the character that you mentioned earlier, which was
if you wanted to see Radical Ed, you got him at the very end, and a lot of people didn't like the way.
And Radical Ed was portrayed so bad.
Yeah. He's a weird character, though.
Yeah, but not that weird.
Yeah,
not like almost like I'm like, what the fuck am I? What show is this? Like all of a sudden. So they just kind of messed up the tone a little bit. I think that they could have tweaked it. At the end of the day, they only had that anime to work from, and they had everything else that they were going to be doing. Blue Sky is probably going to suck.
Bellotti, you into the Bebop at all?
No, I'm very aware of it and its place in anime history, but I sort of missed a boat on it when it first came out, and I never watched it. I've seen bits and pieces, and it looks really great. And
it's
I know
very good.
Yeah, I know they were influenced a lot by those a lot of John Woo movies that were coming out of Hong Kong in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I heard there was the reason why I watched this, there was a gun battle, and they said in this article that they were influenced by a John Woo movie gun battle from A Better Tomorrow. So I watched it, and I was like, shit, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it was inspired, but I never saw it. I know all the controversy. I know the actress Daniel Pineda. I know she said a lot of stupid shit. But I don't think anime translates well to live action.
It may not. That is a good point. It's a different monster.
It's like the video game movies. Like how many good video game movies do we have? It's just one of those things.
But the action in Cowboy Bebop is like on another level.
In the anime, or
in the anime,
like they do a lot of talking heads, but when they get to the fucking business, it's fucking all out.
Right.
The show, that's the thing, is people love the show. It's so much fun. It's so good. If you can't do something better than that in live action, why are you even bothering doing a fucking adaptation?
Yeah. And then why change it so much too?
Yeah. So one and done, just like your Why the Last Man and Jupiter's Legacy and a bunch of other shows.
Yeah.
Netflix will pull the plug real quick.
Oh, they don't fuck around. You're not talking about it.
They're not letting stories play out or people get their feet underneath them for a season. Nope.
If it's expensive, especially if it's an expensive show and it's getting negative buzz
too.
Yeah.
They're investing in these like animes and comics. They're trying to find the next thing, right? So sometimes they hit, but then sometimes obviously they miss. And if it's expensive, like Rugg said, they're done.
Yeah, Jupiter's Legacy wasn't beyond saving.
Right.
And it was just too expensive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Big sets, big costumes, big effects. Let's move on to this next story posted by Jess Rivera. he asked Geek Boner or Floppy Jock.
Geek Boner. Floppy Jock.
On the fact that director Dustin Daniel Cretton is returning to direct the sequel to Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. It's official. He's also signed an exclusive multi-year overall deal with Marvel Studios and Hulu's Onyx Collective so he can create and develop TV shows for both Marvel Studios, Disney Plus, and Hulu. Not necessarily Shang-Chi stuff, but whatever he wants. Anthony Geekboner and Floppy Jock, we're getting a sequel. I think it was a...
Well, we knew we were getting a sequel.
Yeah.
I think the question is...
Who was going to do it?
Yeah, are we Geekboner? Yeah, Geekboner for this. I think they should let him do... I think they should take the reins off of him even more. Like, I think he was really good. I think he's pretty talented, so I like that they're giving him this movie, and I like that they're giving him other stuff, too.
Bellotti, you happy to see it getting a sequel?
Yeah, I mean, it was a no-brainer. You know, why not? I mean, it sounds like it looks like, according to the after credits scene, that they're sort of building him up to be a big character. So, yeah, I'm excited for it.
You got the 10 Rings. Maybe he does a TV show about the sister and what the 10 Rings are up to. That could be, I kind of want to know.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, God, that character should get a fucking TV show instead of, Agatha Harkness or something.
She was badass.
She was good. And she's
fucking badass.
There was, from what I know of, from my Chinese friends that tell me about Asian culture and the family dynamics, it was pretty spot on from what I understand. And like that character, what was the sister's name in that movie? I don't remember.
I don't.
Oh fuck. Oh man.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just remember Wenwu and Shang-Chi. I don't remember anyone else.
Her name was Zhu Zhulang. No, that's the actress's real name. No, wait, that's her.
Xialing.
Xialing, yeah.
Menger Zhan and Xialing.
Somebody's laughing at me.
I'm happy because if you can't get it right, none of us are going to get it.
That one half Asian dude on the show fucking failed.
You had one job to do,
You had
Tony.
one job, pronounce the Asian names correctly.
Job.
Chinese names are
Help us out.
Come on. Don't make us look like idiots.
Listen, I cover all the Pakistani Indian names. Come on, Johnny.
We know that. We know you covered all those names.
The Asian names.
I can't wait to say them.
Yeah.
Do we want a show about Trevor Slattery and his further exploits? Maybe that's a show.
No, I think we're good with that.
I mean, it's Oscar winner Ben Kingsley. He's a fucking great actor.
He served his purpose. He served his purpose.
He was in that movie a little too much.
A little too much. He might have been a little too much with the Trevor Slattery. All right, bring on more Shang-Chi. I want to see it. Lisa Morrison leaves this comment. Finally got around to seeing Venom 2, and basically I wish I hadn't. Just finished watching it. I don't think I could tell you anything that happened. Glad I didn't pay to see it in the theater. Bellotti, have you seen this?
No, I've only seen the after credit sequence.
The whole movie is a 90-minute run-up to that after credit sequence, which is like the most important thing in the movie. So you didn't miss much. You miss Woody Harrelson just acting fucking crazy over
I'll
the
watch
top.
it when it comes on like the FX network or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Basic
I
cable
think it must be on cable.
Yeah, FX channel, whatever.
FX. I thought you said the FX.
Oh, the special
FX
effects
Yeah,
network.
the special effects network.
Special
FX. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'll watch. I'll watch the first one always comes on. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, where is this going? This is awful.
Listen, we're going to see Venom in the MCU. We're going to see him get his spider insignia. We're going to see Peter get a drop of the symbiote.
They basically teased that he's going to be in this movie, No Way Home, and no one cares. No one's talking about that.
No, because there's no precedent for it. There's no context. There's nothing.
He shot that scene on the set of Spider-Man No Way Home. There was a photo he had put out earlier, Spider-Man No Way Home crew hat. And I was like, the fuck is going on here? He's in the movie. He's got to have a cameo, post-credit scene, something.
Maybe.
We'll find out very, very soon.
We'll find out soon. Yeah.
And then last thing, I have some sad news. It's sad and it's a bummer to talk about, but it does need to be shared. I think it's important. Daryl K says sad news in the comic book world today and posts a link about George Perez. Legend. I don't know if you heard of this. Legendary writer, penciler, inker George Perez posted on his own Facebook page that he has stage 3 pancreatic cancer. It's inoperable. He is not going to do chemotherapy. He's going to ride it out. And he said the doctors have given him 6 months to a year to live. And in the meantime,
he lives 2.
I think he lives longer than that. Because a lot of times sometimes those predictions are way off. Like people go on living for years, but he is not undergoing treatment. But it is a time to remember George Perez. Bellotti, I'm sure you are a big fan of George Perez. You could see his influence everywhere.
I'm going to admit, I respect him, but I wasn't a fan of him growing up. He was one of those artists that were like, you don't like as a kid, but when you get older, you like him.
You appreciate it.
Because you see what and his work on Infinity Gauntlet was some of my favorite stuff. And that's how I was introduced to him, through Infinity Gauntlet and Hulk Future Imperfect. And then I found out he did like Wonder Woman and JLA Avengers.
I used to read the New Teen Titans when he was on. It's fucking really good. Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Wonder Woman run. If we talked about our artists like Art Adams. Art Adams clearly inspired by George Perez, like the detail and the line work and the way.
And who? Not many artists are as skilled as Perez is drawing hundreds of characters
on
a
page.
page.
He'll give you a spread with like 100 dudes. He's an amazing penciler, inker, and he went out writing. Ruggs, what are your memories of? I mean, it's weird, like remembering a guy he's still alive, but.
Yeah, he's always been a giant in the industry.
40 years he's been in the comic book industry.
He's got that classic style, classic DC style, I would say. Yeah, known for drawing lots of characters on a page. Great at Wonder Woman. He drew all of like the most iconic, like well-designed, super detailed illustrations when they were doing splash pages or covers. They're just really, really solid and iconic. Like when you think about DC and the DC style, it's, you think about, he's done all those characters and they look perfect.
So he has one of the notoriety of possibly having drawn every single like Marvel and DC character that exists. Like he's drawn at some point in either a splash page or a spread or one of these big things. Anthony, you probably are you familiar with George Perez at all from anywhere?
I mean, I know the name.
Well, how, like, just the bravery of putting this out, like what's going through his head, like what. Would you react this way if the thing came out? We've seen a lot of people like Chadwick Boseman hide, their cancer until it's too late, but he's just gone out and like, look, I'm doing this. That's fucking balls for a man to do this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, everyone kind of handles it a little differently, but I hope however long he lives, he's okay.
I heard that he wanted to go out and like basically go out and do a signing and see all of his fans. And he's like, he wants to individually hug each fan.
He said that.
Like, that doesn't last for more than like a week. He's going to be like, these people are weak.
Yeah.
COVID.
Those people really smell. Especially the fans that want to hug you.
No, he's had an outpouring of love. Like every creator has at some point, been influenced by him and loves him and tons of fans. But it's just a sad thing. Go out and buy his work, read his work. The New Teen Titans run he did is great. It's like, I wish the fucking Tidden show was more like that book, because the book's amazing and the show is fucking garbage. Let's close out with some What Are We Watching, everybody. Anthony, you caught up on something, I hear. What did you catch up on? Have you really? Why? I thought you were joking. You fucking serious?
It's cleaned and like fucking shaved.
Yeah, and you hear the sound.
And it's like it's like the strangest, most pleasurable thing I've ever watched.
Oh my God.
It's strange as fuck. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of those. But what you really wanted me to talk about was while I was sick, I had the debate of either finishing up Narcos Season 3 Mexico or starting Arcane. And all my buddies were like, Arcane's awesome. Arcane's awesome. You guys were saying it was awesome, but I don't really pay attention to what you guys say. It's when other people say it. That's when I pay attention. So they said it was awesome. So I finally got around to watching it, and it is awesome. It's very good. It's very, very, I mean, the animation is great. I think that's what everyone's kind of leads with, but I think it's just a really well done story. I don't know shit about
neither
League of
do I.
Legends.
It doesn't matter.
No, you didn't need to. And Haley Steinfeld's
She's
really
in that
good.
too.
And there's so many layers, and there's so much depth to all the characters, even the characters that you think are bad. There's a lot of motivation there, and there's a lot of allegories to real life. And again, the animation is amazing, and the action scenes are awesome. And yeah, I was very, very impressed. And the way it ended too, I was like,
That's
what?
That's where I was. I was like, no.
This is how it's gonna
I
end?
was so bad. I was like, no.
What?
They're getting season 2. Bellotti, have you seen this or heard about this at all?
No.
Good.
Yeah, I've been hearing really good things about it. I put it on today, but while I was trying to do some commission work, but I was like, wait a minute, this is starting off really good, and I need to give it its full attention. So I need to like sit down and properly watch it.
This isn't a background show. This is a
I need like good background stuff when I'm drawing, and I was like, no, this is I gotta save this.
No, it's like Game of Thrones where you gotta every line means something. You gotta pay attention, and the fucking character arcs. And the first 3 episodes have this amazing arc that, like, after that 3rd episode, I was like, oh fuck, I'm in. This show's amazing.
Oh yeah, those first 3 episodes. I mean, some would argue that it peaked after the first 3, but it was. I mean, it was
that
fucking good.
favorite character, Anthony, coming out of it. Who did you? Is there anyone you connected with?
I mean, Vi
Vi's
obviously
great.
is the main character. I like Vi. I like Vander. Caitlyn's like a charming little character that, like, strangely felt like, well, I'm like kind of attracted to this girl. Yeah. I mean, all of them really. Like Powder / Jinx.
Jinx
like,
was my
She's a
favorite.
crazy
Oh my God,
character.
she's crazy, yeah.
I liked. Oh man, I forget the little kid's name. The little black boy. That has blonde
and then
hair.
he grows up. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
I liked
little
him. I mean, I like
professor,
all sorts
the
of characters.
furry professor guy.
Heimerdinger
is great. Yeah. And
They're
then
all good.
Victor,
There's some characters that I'm like not as high on, but yeah, it's in everything. Yeah, I was super impressed, and it's like it takes the animation style that you saw in Spider-Verse and like just ups it to another level. And it's strangely like kind of like feels video gamey, but then like has still some art to it. I don't know. It's just such a interesting. It's a show like that. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this is the type of show where I'm glad to see like they're pushing the boundaries of animation. It was my favorite animated show since Invincible.
You don't normally watch stuff like that.
I was going to say this exact same.
No, the painterly aspect, it's like an illustration come to life. It is. It's weird. It's like a video game, but it's also like a living painting, a living piece of art.
The one scene where oh man, I keep forgetting that little kid's name. Black kid and Jinx and man, that's such.
What
I should
was
really
his
figure
name?
out
Hold
that
on,
kid's
we'll
name.
find out. Okay,
You find out his name. That kid and Jinx are fighting.
Right.
Not this doesn't really spoil anything, Bellotti. They're fighting, and then but they're fighting as adults, but then they keep cutting back to them as kids.
Yeah,
and cutting like doing like what would have happened if they were kids.
Echo.
Like, it's so well done.
Yeah.
Echo, yes, it's so well done. Like they're able to, like the show is so kind of realistic, even though it's in like a future society. But they're able to like keep the realism, so you feel everything. But then they're able within the fights to kind of go off on a tangent of being a little artsy.
But
Yet
the
it still
fights are
works.
brutal still, too.
But you still feel every
Yeah.
punch. So it's just such a strange. I've never seen anything like that.
Silco was the other character I thought was really interesting. He was
He's
like
great. All
Emperor
characters are good.
Palpatine. Also, top-notch voice cast. You got Josh Keaton on this, who did all the Tony Stark voices and Captain America in What If. Yuri Lowenthal, who voices Peter Parker in the Spider-Man game, and then, of course, Haley Steinfeld. But great everything. Just the voice acting, the writing, the character development, the world building. They nailed everything. It's so good.
It's one of those things where I was talking about the bad guy, like how Marvel does bad guys, and how this bad guy, you mean him in the very beginning. You see him, you see how he comes
His motivations
to be
and stuff you get.
bad guy. You see him even like, when he's young, and then how he grows to be this like kind of menacing dude, but he also has more depth than that. He's just not a guy hungry for power. He's lonely.
Yeah.
He has no family.
Yeah, and he gets kind of a daughter in Jinx.
Yeah, and he kind of gets attached to this thing, and it becomes its greatest weakness.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
And it's like, look, just saying those sentences, they don't. And that's like the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more there. And you could, with each character, even though you spend a few minutes with them, sometimes they're more fleshed out than a lot of Marvel characters.
Yeah, you learn about them right away in little moments.
There was two thoughts I had. Bellotti had mentioned like video game adaptations. This is clearly the best one. First off, not a very high bar, but like this is actually like great TV in general. And then I don't want to like diss Marvel to make this look good because I enjoy Marvel, but I was thinking about like what if, and I'm like, what if, although like not exactly the same setup, more of an anthology. I'm like, damn, like I wish Marvel would go go for it, like go for a home run like these people went for, because these guys, the whole staff behind this, everyone that was involved in this caught lightning in a bottle and they made something awesome.
Well, yeah, they hadn't, their intention was not to just play it safe and come up with something. They wanted to blow it out of the water. Like, they've been doing this stuff, the people behind League of Legends, because the thing about League of Legends is it's not a very original game. All right? League of Legends is like a clone of two other games. Like, there's Defense of the Ancients or Defenders of the Ancients, which is Dota 2, which is, it's basically a carbon copy of that game. And, so it's not an original game. So what they did to kind of bolster their game up is that they came up with all of these interesting like characters and started putting these animes together, like the cinematics in their game, and they started getting really good at it. And so then what they did that was really crazy is they made a pop group called KDA, like kind of like Gorillaz.
Oh, they made an actual musical group. Whoa.
Yeah, they made a musical group called KDA with all female. It's like an all female pop group that with
animated
like,
characters.
Yeah, animated characters in the video, and you could see a lot of this style is in that too. And it was like a K-pop, like a Korean, like two Korean singers and Madison Beer and some other girl that looks like Billie Eilish, but it's not. And they made that. They made a bunch of videos that were animated, and those were really good. And so like when I saw this, I was like, I almost didn't want to watch it because I was like, oh, it's gonna suck because all they're doing is like using their characters in these animes. But then the story was so good. I knew the animation was gonna be good. Like there was not even a question. But the fact that they were able to write these stories, that's what really wowed me. Like that they were able to make it suck me in, like almost like a Game of Thrones did. Like I got sucked into those characters. So, everybody who hasn't seen it should watch.
Definitely check it out if you like.
The best thing since Invincible. Yeah,
good storytelling.
Great music.
Oh yeah,
too.
Imagine Dragons.
Didn't think I'd be listening to Imagine Dragons.
I really like
anymore.
that Imagine Dragons song. I kind of like it.
I think that song is okay, but I think like a lot of the musical cues throughout where they're using real music, like with like people, because usually that can be kind of cheesy when they put in people singing. But for whatever reason, they like hit.
Well, I think Imagine Dragons wrote
so
the song for the show, so they were involved.
I think that was the biggest weakness in their whole musical thing.
Was Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, Imagine Dragons. Yeah, right. It was.
Because they stand out too much.
A little bit. It's. I mean, not everybody right away goes, "Oh, that's Imagine Dragons." Would you? Maybe.
Well, I think most people listen to music. Oh,
that's Imagine
Dragons. That was good. Like they were good like 10 years ago.
It's a resurrection. It's their revival. No, they made fun of Imagine Dragons last week in Hawkeye, and Haley Steinfeld is in this, and this has a lot of Imagine Dragons. Just weird coincidences. Bellotti, what are you watching? You watch anything fun lately?
I watched the documentary called The Rescue on Disney+.
What's that about?
Remember that soccer team from Thailand got trapped in the tunnels?
In the mines.
Oh, those little boys.
Yeah. Let me tell you
crazy.
Let me tell you something.
Shit.
You guys got to watch this fucking documentary.
I do. I remember being obsessed with that when that happened.
You have to watch this documentary. They got like actual footage and they blend it so well with like the recreated footage.
Wow.
And it's crazy because it's basically the plot of the movie Armageddon. If that makes any sense, because these kids get trapped, right? You know the story. The Thai Navy SEALs go in and they can't get them. And there's like this British hobby.
Submarines and shit in there.
No, it's a.
Everyone's not making things up.
Yeah, he said that. The yellow submarine goes in there.
Well, that's the Beatles documentary. I'm on acid. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're on acid and they ride a talking dragon dog out.
That's how they got out.
and a horse dies in the swamp.
Atreyu!
So
no,
anyway.
they had to send. Yeah, I remember they had to send in like experts from around the world.
No, so they had like Air Force pararescue. They had it was a whole multinational coalition. But the guy that spearheaded the whole thing was just an amateur cave diver. Not amateur. He was a hobbyist like cave diver. That's what he did. He was like an older white dude. And it was him and another guy that spearheaded the entire operation. And the Navy SEALs, the Thai SEALs, were like, we're not trained for this. Like, we're trained for stuff, but we can't really do this.
I object to this movie because there's a white savior.
It's a white savior movie.
Why do they need a white guy to come in and save all these other people?
You know what's funny?
It's Jimmy Chin from Free Solo did this.
Yeah,
Free Solo is a fucking frightening movie. I know Jimmy Chin.
It is a little avatar-ish.
Yeah.
It's a little avatar-ish, but it's the true story. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. It's so they have like the two cave divers and they think these kids are dead. And then they go a little further in a cave and they find out they're in there. And the SEALs try to go. And the SEALs are like, okay, you guys found them. We'll take this over. We'll go in. And the SEALs can't do it. A fucking Thai Navy SEAL dies.
Shit.
This retired guy who comes out. It's not a spoiler because everyone knows the guy died. And they're like, how are we gonna get these kids out? So the British guy says, they're like, what do you need? And he says, here's a list of the best cave divers in the world. Get me these guys. And he just recruits the best cave divers in the world. And that's how they go in. And they have to go in and get these kids. And you guys know the whole story.
How many days were they in there?
It was 21 days or something. And they had to get them out. They were going to let them stay in a cave until it was in June. And they were like, maybe we could keep them in there till October when the rains died down. But what happened was it kept raining and it kept draining the cave, but it wasn't helping. And the air was getting stagnant inside. And when they looked at the weather, they were doing it like they were pulling out like 3 kids a day, right? Over like 5 days. And I think the last day they said, we have to get all these kids out because it's going to start pouring out like the next day. And sure enough, like by the time they got the last kid out, it started raining. And then they like, if we waited, they would have died. God. Yeah, it was crazy. And at one point they said, one of the Thai officials was like to the British guy, he said something like, there is a chance that if you guys rescue these kids and they die, you can go to a Thai prison. So it was like, you talk about you having problems. Oh,
that sounds amazing. I love documentaries like that.
It is absolutely amazing. And like, you're totally going to tear up at the end. I mean, I'm sitting there like blubbering, hiding the tears from my wife and wanting to see me crying. It was fucking amazing and inspiring. Like these kids were not scared at all.
Wow.
Not scared. And just like what these guys did, how they could have just like went home anytime and they felt compelled to save these kids.
Yeah,
and
I remember that story.
Yeah, it's an
unbelievable
2018,
story. I think that happened, right?
Yeah.
I remember it like being, I remember following it like not I don't know if the word is live, but while it was happening and checking every day, I'm like, did they get those kids out? Did they get those kids out? Because I remember they were talking about like training those kids to like swim themselves out, and I was like, holy shit, this is insane.
Well, what happens is when the 2 cave divers go in, they find 3 of these I think they were like tunnel workers or something, like out of nowhere, and these older guys, and they said they grabbed them and they were underwater for like 30 seconds with these guys to get them out, and he said they panicked so much that they realized that there's no way they can get these kids out the same way because the distance they had to swim was over 2 hours long. And they said, the only way we can do this is if we sedate the kids. And nobody wanted to do it. And there was this one guy from the Air Force pararescue and said, well, what's the impossible thing to get? Like, how do we, like, what's impossible? Like, and they said, we have to sedate the kids. And he goes, well, what if we did that? Like, what if we try it? And sure enough, that's exactly what they did. And that's how they got him out. So these divers had to learn to administer this sedative.
Holy shit, to kids.
Yeah. And one of the divers was like a brilliant surgeon, a doctor who was like, no, we can't do this. We can't do this. And they were like making it up as they went along. I mean, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking, I can't get over like how fucking crazy this was.
Shit. That's fucking.
You cannot write it. That's what I'm saying. It was like the movie Armageddon. Like when Bruce Willis says that line, like, you guys are NASA and this is the best you can come up with. Like, it's exactly like that. It's exactly like that.
That's a good recommendation. I'm going to check that out.
But they do commend the SEALs. They said, the SEALs are the ones that pushed them to go further, and because those guys wanted to give up, and it was a total like team effort on everyone's part.
It's a Nat Geo produced Disney Plus. And Jimmy Chin is a great documentary filmmaker. I know of him. He's crazy. He'll hang off the side of a fucking mountain with nothing and shoot video.
Yeah. Oh, it's I highly recommend watching.
All right,
this.
right on. Ruggs, what do you got? Anything good?
No, I haven't watched anything really other than Super Crooks.
You did. What'd you think of that? It's pretty good. It's all right. Yeah,
it was fun.
fun.
Yeah, it was good
too. It was fun.
It was a good, fun little show.
Quick.
Yeah. I'm still watching Wheel of Time.
Oh yeah, I'm 4 episodes into that. I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, I feel like it starts to get weird in the middle now. Hopefully, it doesn't tank the rest of the show. So let's see if it.
I think it's like a weekly release schedule, right? It's on Amazon. It's like they do with the boys and everything.
Like there was like did you get to the episode where they face off against the guy, the evil one? In the cave?
Yeah, the guy they think is the dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. That episode was so fucking badass.
That was a good one.
I was like,
the end of that one was crazy.
I'm like, this show is gonna be awesome.
That one girl is badass. That the Trollocs snatched her and she fucking fucks them up and gets away. I was like, that girl's badass. Nineveh or whatever.
So I'm like, okay, I'm like, fucking, because they end this episode with this girl like having this huge influx of power and just showing how badass she is. And I was like, oh, I got the feelings from this. I got like, okay, this is gonna be a fucking awesome show. Then like 2 episodes later, nothing's happening.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh God, please let this pick up. We need to pick this back up again. Don't let up, man. Keep going.
That girl's badass. I was looking forward to her. Anyways, that's it for the show this week. Ruggs, Witcher season 2 comes out this week. If you're not watching Spider-Man No Way Home,
I'll be knee deep in fucking fantasy.
Yeah,
you got
a lot
fucking
of fantasy out there.
Wheel of Time and The Witcher.
Bellotti, thanks for hanging out. Tell the listener where they can find your stuff and buy your art.
Sure. It's my website, www.robo7.com. It's ROBO, number 7.com. And the best place to find me is on Instagram. And my handle is Robo7, but that's spelled out ROBOSEVEN. And you can also find me in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, by the Verrazano Bridge.
Hanging out under the Verrazano Bridge like a troll.
Yeah, and in the park over there with the homeless people. So if you want to come talk to me in person, that's where I'll be tonight.
Be stretching, yeah.
I'll be doing my calisthenics before I go on my run. So yeah, come meet me in the park late at night if you want to talk.
Come ahead, let's hang out.
Let's talk nerd shit in the park late at night.
Ruggs, where can the listener find you? Are you hanging out in the park with him?
I'm gonna be with John Bellotti in the park.
Let's do it.
Vastly.
Yes,
a copious amount.
You need the lube.
And when I'm done with that, I might be on my phone now on Twitter. So you could see me there at Really Rug Boy on Twitter. Really Rug Boy on Twitter.
Check out Bellotti's links. I'll have all of that in the show notes for this episode at jockandnerd.com/412, as well as links to everything we talked about, how to support the show. Thanks for listening. Share the show, listener. Spread the geekery. This has been the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name is Anthony.
He's the Jock.
The Nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
I fucking loved it.
I really don't give a shit.
Jock and Nerd.